When you've got what you want, maybe I should start over. Let's go.
Get in here. Get him on shore. Look at you. Fish on. Get in there, baby.
Welcome back to another great day in the indoors with Sports and Tradition. I'm Bryce.
I'm Kip.
This is part 2 in the hunting series.
All right, today we're going to talk about, we're not going to exactly go into how to sight in your gun. That will be a video for another day, but we're going to kind of go over what we do while we're there and then all the different positions that you could find yourself shooting in. Because I'm sure you have your preferences on how you'd like to shoot, but hunting, well, you never know what you're going to get. You might be laying down, you might be standing up, you might be on your knees, you could be leaning around a bush. There's all kinds of stuff. What's your favorite?
Well, personally for me, I like shooting off the claw. I just found comfortable to it. I like standing up, and it's not what everyone likes to do, but that's what I like to do.
Yeah, and you're good at it. There's no doubt about it. So, although you've done a lot more than just that. So I'm going to start off, like I said, you never know what you're going to get, right? So the number one thing we do when we go to the range is we sit down on a bench, you get the bags out, you lock that gun down, and you sight it in. Once you get it zeroed at the distance you're working, then you got to go out and practice. You know the gun, when it's locked down and perfect and you're sitting the way you want to sit, it's on, then I feel like we go from there. So we go out, and the number one position that I prefer, and probably most people in the industry, is prone. If you ever get that prone shot, you're going to be simulating that lockdown on the bench thing. You can really lock it down using your backpack or whatnot. Especially on a long shot, I want to be prone. And we've got an example of a couple shots here I'm going to show you of us shooting prone. Okay, the next thing that we do is we will sit up. We have a Harris bipod on the guns that allows you to sit up. So my elk hunt last year, I hunted a real tough unit. It's wide open flats. There was wind and other hunters, and I had 9 miles on Onyx before I was standing over the body. And the closest I could get with no cover, even with the wind right, was about 600 yards. And I scooted up on it's rolling hills, and I scooted up to an area where I thought I was going to be cutting down the distance, and I think I got it down to about 550, 575, and I laid down and I couldn't see. The hump was just enough. So I sat up, opened up the bipod, and steadied in, controlled my breathing, and put it down.
And we'll also work kneeling when we're at the claw, and I think we have some examples to show you right now.
And that's an effective way too. The next step we like to do is actually standing with the claw. This is Bryce's favorite, and a lot of times we'll be moving along, and we'll get a spot and we have to stand up, and we have a light yet sturdy tripod with the claw on it, and we'll get it set out, and we already have it set to its height. Sometimes you got to adjust it if you end up uphill, downhill, whatever, but we got a trigger on the claw, on the head that holds the claw on, and you do really good with that.
Yeah, so a lot of times standing up, you're going to have a slight move and back, but what we were taught was to time it, and you have to have the timing. So if you're moving just slightly, recognize that move, and then time it, boom, right when you're on the right spot. And it works pretty good for me. I've gotten really good at that timing, and I love shooting standing.
Yeah, that's probably not the easiest, but you're very good at it, I will admit. And then finally is standing. And standing and shooting freehand, there's a distance where you got to cut that off. You don't really want to. Again,
you don't want to freehand a 500-yard shot.
Again, in review, you have your prone, you're sitting up, you're kneeling, and you're standing are all areas you could end up in. And then there's variances. You could be leaning on your knees around the bush.
We've never practiced this, but I've actually shot pretty much everything. I've never shot sitting down, though. Sitting off a claw, I've never shot that way.
You never know what you're going to end up with. So the best you can do
for everything.
Is be ready for everything. Learn your weapon. Shoot it in multiple different formats. And then the next time we get together, we'll talk about where the placement is on the animal that you're shooting, which is important. That's the next step. Well, that's it for today, folks. So until next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
Oh, take your kids hunting, fishing. I don't know what to say. What are we saying?
You did it. You just said it.
Okay.
All right.
I got you. Ready?